For centuries, the unspoken code of the royal household was simple: discretion, loyalty, and service. No matter what happened behind the gilded doors, the staff bowed, the staff served, and the staff stayed silent. But that code has just been shattered. In what insiders are calling an unprecedented resistance, a mutiny is brewing within the House of Windsor. The target? Prince Andrew. As the disgraced Duke moves into his new, modest exile on the Sandringham estate, he is facing a reality he never could have imagined in his worst nightmares. It's not just that he has lost his titles. It's not just that he has lost his 30-room mansion. It is that the people paid to serve him are saying no. Reports from The Sun and Fox News Digital reveal that a growing list of royal staff members are opting out of working for Andrew. They are refusing to cook his meals, refusing to make his bed, and refusing to tolerate him. One source describes him as a total pariah. Another says the staff find him creepy and disgusting. How did the Queen's favourite son go from being a war hero and a trade envoy to a man who cannot even find a maid willing to enter his room? To understand this collapse, we have to look past the headlines. We have to listen to the man who saw it all begin, Princess Diana's former butler, Paul Burrell. And his revelations are not just damaging, they are devastating. Paul Burrell served both Queen Elizabeth II and Princess Diana. He knows where the bodies are buried. And in his explosive new memoir, The Royal Insider, he paints a portrait of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor that is far darker than the bumbling playboy image we used to know. According to Burrell, the toxicity didn't start with Jeffrey Epstein. It started decades ago, right inside Buckingham Palace. Burrell claims he had a front row seat to Andrew's behaviour. He describes a man of breathtaking entitlement. This wasn't just a prince who expected luxury. This was a man who allegedly treated human beings like furniture. Burrell reveals that Andrew would openly scream at staff. We aren't talking about a stern reprimand. We are talking about direct, obscene abuse. F off and get out of here were reportedly common phrases hurled at footmen and maids, the very people whose livelihood depended on serving him. Imagine the scene: a young, newly married Andrew living in the palace with Sarah Ferguson. According to Burrell, their entitlement was a toxic cocktail. They didn't just live, they consumed. Burrell describes elaborate, gluttonous dinner parties held in their private apartments. They wouldn't settle for a sandwich. No, they allegedly demanded 3- and 4-course banquets, starters, mains, puddings, forcing the Queen's own chefs to stay up until midnight, cooking, serving, and clearing away the mess. It was treated like a 24-hour a la carte restaurant, and when the staff was exhausted, they were met with abuse. But the most shocking claim from Burrell involves the maids. He alleges that Andrew and Sarah would physically block housekeeping routines. They would refuse to let maids into their rooms to make the beds, sometimes staying in bed for days at a time, creating a chaotic, unhygienic environment that disrupted the entire household. Burrell calls it abusing the system. The staff were livid. The tension was so high that it sparked a rare intervention from the very top. It takes a lot to make the late Queen Elizabeth II intervene in domestic squabbles. She was a woman of immense patience, but according to Burrell, even she had a breaking point. The staff eventually revolted. The master of the household, the man responsible for running the palace, went to the Queen. He told her the situation was unsustainable. Her staff were being treated like dirt. Burrell recalls the moment the Queen put her foot down. She reportedly told Andrew, "These are my staff. They are not yours, Andrew, and you must treat them with respect." It was a ticking off. A slap on the wrist. But here lies the root of the problem. Andrew received a scolding, but did he receive a consequence? Burrell argues that Andrew's indestructible confidence came from one key factor: his mother's blind spot. By the time Andrew was born in 1960, Elizabeth had been on the throne for 8 years. The pressure was off. She doted on him. She rarely said no. For decades, Prince Philip acted as the guardian of the gate, protecting the Queen from her children's messes. But when Philip died in 2021, Andrew saw his chance. Burrell notes that Andrew was the first by her side, positioning himself as her crutch. It was a strategy of survival. As long as the Queen lived, Andrew was safe. But the Queen is gone, and the man sitting on the throne now is not his mother. Fast forward to today. The indestructible prince is broken. King Charles III has done what many thought impossible. He has severed the lifeline. The reports are confirmed. Andrew has officially vacated Royal Lodge, the 30-room mansion in Windsor Great Park that symbolised his status. Where is he now? He has been banished to the Sandringham estate. He is temporarily staying at Wood Farm, a place of retirement, a place of quiet, a place for old men. Eventually, he is expected to move to Marsh Farm. The press calls it a relocation. Insiders call it an open prison. This is not just a change of address. It is a demotion of biblical proportions. And this is where the mutiny becomes critical. According to The Sun, staff at his new residence have been told they do not have to serve him if they feel uncomfortable. Let that sink in. The King of England has essentially told his staff, "You don't have to deal with my brother if you don't want to." A source told the paper, "There is already quite a list of people who have said no thanks." Why? Because the reputation Andrew built in the 80s, the swearing, the arrogance, the pompousness described by Burrell, has followed him. People talk. Royal staff are a tight-knit community. They know who treats them with dignity, and they know who tells them to fuck off. British royal expert Hilary Ford told Fox News that the resistance is unprecedented. It amounts to a strike. It is a total rejection of Andrew as a superior. He is now a private citizen with a royal title, living in a house he doesn't own, served by staff who don't want to be there. Of course, the staff's refusal isn't just about bad manners. It is about the radioactive cloud that hangs over Andrew's head, Jeffrey Epstein. We all remember the disastrous 2019 BBC Newsnight interview. The sweating, the Pizza Express alibi, the utter lack of empathy for the victims. It was meant to clear his name. Instead, it ended his life as a working royal. But the story didn't end there. In late January, the US Department of Justice released millions of pages of records. Andrew appeared in emails. He appeared in photos. Allegations resurfaced of him being on all fours in disturbing scenarios. Andrew has consistently denied all wrongdoing. He has never been convicted of a crime. We must state that clearly. But in the court of public opinion, the verdict was delivered long ago. The settlement with Virginia Giuffre in 2022, paid without admission of liability, did not buy him silence. It bought him suspicion. Now, reports suggest he may have shared official documents with business contacts. Every week brings a new headline. Every headline brings a new humiliation for King Charles. The king is trying to modernize the monarchy. He is trying to show value to the taxpayer. Having a brother who is viewed as a total pariah, who is accused of creepy behaviour, and who causes a mutiny among loyal staff, it is a liability the king can no longer afford. Paul Burrell, controversial as he may be, said something profound about this situation. He said, "We all have to pay for our sins." For decades, Andrew believed his birthright was a shield. He believed his mother's love was a get-out-of-jail-free card. He believed he could treat staff like serfs and live like a king without consequence. He was wrong. Today, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor sits in a farmhouse in Norfolk. His military titles are gone. His office is closed. His brother, the king, has cut off the funding. And the very people he once swore at are now the ones holding the power, simply by saying no. It is a striking reversal of fortune. The man who demanded everything is now left with almost nothing. What do you think? Is this treatment of Andrew fair, or has the king gone too far in punishing his own brother? Do you believe Paul Burrell's accounts of the obscene abuse behind palace doors? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you want to stay ahead of the royal news that the mainstream media often misses, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. This story is far from over.